Thank you all of you for coming. I have seen many of my colleagues, many friends, also authorities from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and I will address a brief introduction in order to let the stage to Ambassador Aida that she's the head of Overseas Promotion and Cultural Affairs of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The documentary that we are showing today in Ankara was premiered in Panama on November the 1st and presented in Madrid afterwards. This is the second presentation worldwide and now in Ankara, in Turkey. It was produced by the ANKARA'DA Foundation, directed by two enterprising and visionary women, who dream of documenting the history of art in Panama, this being a project that orders both the lives and the work of the artists chronologically and the circumstances in which their works were produced. Being Panama part of Colombia, this tour is framed in the painters who were born after 1949, showing the works of the artists who came to the Isthmus to make a series of portraits of the rulers of that Colombian province. In the case of Epifanio Garay, he founded a school that the renowned artists Roberto Luis, Manuel Amador, and Nicanor Villalaz attended. The development of the plastic arts was completely natural and private because there were no institutions where they could be exhibited. This is how the first art galleries and the Panamanian Institute of Art, PANARTE, emerged, which was the predecessor of the Museum of Contemporary Art, which since 1983 occupies the building of an old Masonic lodge in what was the Canal Zone, and was the first museum institution that entered that exclusive territory of the Americans once the implementation of the Panama Canal Treaty of 1977 started. Throughout this documentary, we will see the testimonies of many artists and historians, men and women, even some relatives, who have been decisive in forming the identity of our plastic arts, the different currents in which they align themselves, and the success that many have had abroad. It is important to highlight that during the production of this documentary, which took several years, some of the artists and art historians that appeared in the film died. This is the case of Julio Sacrison, who lived most of his life in Madrid, Spain, and who is well known as one of the best engravers in the world. Others like Mario Calvi, a sculptor and painter, and who was a great promoter of the incipient plastic movements, the historian Pedro Luis Prados, the great masters Manuel Adán Vázquez and Adriano Echevarría, who died without seeing this valuable record of their work. The production of this documentary was under the direction of Patricia González Osorio, who spent 3 years in Panama because her husband was the ambassador of Spain in Panama, and who put all her knowledge as a documentary filmmaker at the service of this ambitious project. Since its premiere presentation in Panama, it has been shown in Panamanian museums and universities. Regarding this embassy, as an art collector, as an active member of the development of plastic arts in my country, it's an honor and a privilege to show you DocuArte, along with some works from my collection, so that you can appreciate the excellence of our artists. Next month, we will show it in Istanbul. Welcome everyone to this wonderful adventure of Panamanian art. Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure for me to join you today for the screening of the documentary entitled DocuArtePanamâ. First of all, I would like to thank Ambassador Sahel and her colleagues for their efforts to organize such a cultural event. It is noteworthy to mention that it's a special source of pleasure for us to host the second screening of this documentary out of Panama. Even with a brief research about the Panamanian art, it's possible to appreciate its truly unique character. Panama has a rich culture that carries the traces of different periods with roots extending to Caribbean, Africa, and Europe. Panama's art honors her cultural variety by encompassing the historical periods of its past, with each one's own stories and characteristics. I'm certain that after watching this documentary, we will all look forward to learning more about the Panamanian culture and art. Distinguished guests, today's event is about shedding light to the life and work of 21 recognized Panamanian artists belonging to different generations and lived in between 1849 and 1950. We all may acknowledge that the art allows us to express our ideas and emotions, so we can find who we are and how we feel and view the world around us as people simply by looking at, watching, and experiencing art. In this sense, via this documentary, we will not only see some precious samples of beautiful Panamanian paintings, but also make a delightful journey of the art and culture of Panama through the eyes of her iconic artists. Traditional diplomacy is about achieving peace, economic diplomacy is about achieving prosperity, but it's the cultural diplomacy that wins the hearts and minds. Hoping that this exhibition will bring our countries and peoples even closer, I would like to thank you all for your kind attention and participation. Thank you.